Do you use social media? Of course you do, everybody does. It is also a very, very common set of questions in the IELTS speaking task part 1. In this video, we're going to be looking at some topic-specific vocabulary for social media. We're going to look at some common questions that get asked about social media in the IELTS speaking task part 1. And then towards the end, I'm going to give you some Band 7 IELTS speaking test part 1 sample answers on the topic of social media. Let's start with the topic-specific vocabulary. Privacy is going to be a word you use often when talking about social media. Privacy means just being free from being seen or watched by other people. An example of this for part 1, I value my privacy, so I'm careful about how I use social media. I love to use Instagram, but I do get worried about how much people know about me. I value my privacy. Active user. This is a phrase you can use when talking about how much you use the product. If you use a product regularly, you are an active user. I am an active user of Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I use them daily. I use social media occasionally to see what my friends are doing. I'm not an active user though. Platforms is a good word to use when talking about the different companies of social media. Platforms just means like the app or the operating system. For example, I use a variety of social media platforms, but I use Facebook the most. Some platforms are worse than others. I hear Instagram sells your information, so I try not to use it. Time consuming. Time consuming is a good phrase to use when talking about social media because it's a good high-level vocabulary word. Time consuming basically means it takes up a lot of your time. Keeping up with social media is so time consuming. I used to go on Instagram all the time, but it got too time consuming. Procrastinate. Everybody procrastinates. I procrastinated before making this video. Procrastinate means when you put off doing something that you know you should be doing. I often procrastinate on social media when I'm meant to be doing something meaningful. Social media is awful because it tempts me to procrastinate when I have work to do. Addictive. Addictive means it's hard to stop doing. Some people are addicted to cigarettes or alcohol, and some people are addicted to social media. Let's use it in a sentence. Instagram is so addictive, I sometimes scroll for hours at a time. I heard that social media is addictive, so I try to limit my time to 1 hour per day. Acquaintances is another great word to use when talking about social media. Acquaintance is someone you know a little bit, but not enough to call a friend. Social media is great for keeping up with what my acquaintances are doing. I have a lot of acquaintances, so Facebook helps me to keep in touch with them. Probably don't call someone your acquaintance. People like to be called friends. Like and subscribe, something that self-promoting YouTubers beg you to do. If you are enjoying the video, please like and subscribe. Go on then. Memories. A lot of people use social media to hold their memories. Memories is something you remember from the past. To use in a sentence would be, I love uploading my pictures to Instagram so I can use them as memories later in life. I use social media to help me to remember things that I would forget. It's a great way to preserve my memories. Personal data. Personal data is any information relating to you. So your name, age, birthday, where you live, favourite food. And it's something that is very relevant to social media because they get your personal data. I worry what the social media platforms are doing with my personal data. I use social media, but I try to keep personal data off my profile. To catch up. To catch up with someone is to talk to someone that you haven't spoken to in a while. I use social media to catch up with friends that live a long way away. Facebook is great for catching up with old friends or acquaintances. Scroll mindlessly, or to scroll mindlessly, which means spreading time going through a feed with no real purpose. Something we all do, so it's great vocabulary for you to use in the IELTS speaking task part 1. Every time I log on social media, I end up scrolling mindlessly for hours. Sometimes I go on TikTok and scroll mindlessly. It is addictive. Now we have some good topic-specific vocabulary for you to use. I want to show you some of the common questions that come up in the IELTS speaking test part 1 relating to social media. Do you use social media? How much time do you spend on social media? Do you think there are any drawbacks to social media? Drawbacks means disadvantages. What are the benefits of being on social media? What can people learn about you on social media? How has the way you use social media changed? We're going to go through all these questions and I'm going to give you some Band 7 to Band 9 sample answers. Remember, don't memorize these answers because they will not relate to you. Use them as a guide or a template or examples of what you could say. Remember to talk about yourself, don't memorize answers. Having said that, let's look at some sample answers. The most common question you will get if you're talking about social media is simply, do you use social media? Yes. Now obviously you need to say more than yes, you need to expand on your answer. So here are some examples. Yes, I use it a lot. I use Facebook for catching up with my friends and family, Instagram to post my photographs, and TikTok to keep up with all the dance trends. Yes, I am a daily user. If I didn't use social media, my social life would suffer because I use the platforms to organise things with my friends. Maybe you don't use social media. No, I miss out on a lot of things, but my privacy is very important to me and I don't want the social media platforms to have all my personal data. No, but I occasionally use Facebook Messenger to catch up with acquaintances that I don't get to see in real life. How much time do you spend on social media? A lot. It's hard to say exactly how much, but whenever I get a spare moment, I go on. I like to spend most of my time on Instagram to see what my friends are up to, and I occasionally use Facebook, but not as much as the other platforms. A lot. I procrastinate on social media all the time. I think it's quite addictive for me because I can't help but look at it all the time. Not much. I think some social media platforms are addictive and I try to stay off them as much as possible. I like to live in the real world and not spend too much time staring at my phone. Not much. I use YouTube a little to help me learn how to pass my IELTS speaking test part 1, but I try to stay off Facebook because I like my privacy. Do you think there are any drawbacks to social media? Yes, I'm an active user of Instagram and there are many drawbacks, such as getting FOMO, making people procrastinate, and giving a big company all my personal data to sell to advertisers. FOMO is fear of missing out. I'm sure you knew that already. Yes, I think the main drawback is the platform selling my personal data. It can also make some people depressed when they see the polished and curated photos of their friends because it makes them feel bad. Curated means specifically picked. It's like when you go on Instagram and you see all these really good looking, beautiful people having lots of fun and you feel bad because you don't have a filter on your face in real life. Which we should have. Not really, it's a great way to catch up with friends and a way to store my memories. I know people worry about privacy, but it's a small price to pay for social interaction. Without social media, this pandemic would have been much worse for mental health. What are the benefits of being on social media? There are a lot of benefits, including being able to be social even if you are a shy person. Most of my friends are people I have met through social media. There are a lot of benefits, including helping people to stop feeling lonely. There are many groups on Facebook and Reddit that people can join and chat to. Even though they're just strangers online, it's comforting to know that you are not alone. It is helpful that social media reminds me of my acquaintances' birthdays so I can wish them a happy birthday and make a connection. I would forget if I had to rely on my memory. I like to plan events and Facebook really helps with organising them. I can just send a link to all my friends and they can RSVP right there on my page. Like and subscribe. How did that get in there? Technology. What can people learn about you on social media? Not much. I'm very careful about how much of my personal data I put online as I'm worried about stalkers finding me in real life. When I use social media platforms, I'm careful not to check in to any locations. A stalker is someone that might follow you a lot or keep calling you all the time if they get your personal data on Facebook. Lots of things. I spend a lot of my time on social media so all my personal data is there. I hope nobody uses it, but I don't mind the platform knowing about me as they can send me discounts for the places that I like to shop and eat. How has the way you use social media changed? Not much. I have grown up with social media, so I am a digital native. I am not addicted to it, it's just part of my life. I like to meet people, share photographs and organise events on my social media platforms. A digital native is someone who has grown up with social media always being there. So if you're under the age of 20, you're probably a digital native. It's a really good word to use. Yes, I used to use it for uploading my personal photographs and to update my status. Now I use it in a more professional way to create events for my business. I used to scroll mindlessly through the social media sites, but now I try to limit my time to just 1 hour a day to stop myself getting addicted. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I hope that you can use the topic-specific vocabulary, the common questions and the sample answers to help build your confidence for the IELTS writing task part 1. You can also check out these videos that will give you much more advice on the different aspects of the IELTS. Also, click this Smash Exams logo to subscribe. Good luck and smash those exams.